Hello everyone! Today we will talk about the evolution of management, the function of management. Lecture 2. Okay, first, the era of management. A century ago, in 1911, Frederick Taylor published The Principles of Scientific Management, an event widely acknowledged as an important moment in the history of modern management. Soon afterward, management disseminated and diversified. Management explained as a time-bounded set of beliefs, ideas, and practices by which to organize public and private organizations became such a widely used phenomenon that one could no longer imagine a world without it. Thus, it could be argued that the 20th century is a specific period in the history of management. Management is a social science. Today, we need to rethink management. We need to do a compare the era. Let's see where are management from 1890 to 2000. 1910s to 1940s. Management as a science. Management as a science was developed in the early 20th century and focused on increasing productivity and efficiency through standardization, division of labor, centralization, and hierarchy. A very top-down management with strict control over people and processes dominated across industries. 1950s to 1960s. Functional organizations. Due to growing and more complex organizations, the 1950s and 1960s saw the emergence of functional organizations and the human resource movement. Managers began to understand the human factor in production and productivity and tools such as goal setting, performance reviews, and job description were born. 1970s. Strategic planning. In the 1970s, we changed our focus from measuring function to resource allocation, and tools like strategic planning, growth share matrix, and SWOT were used to formalize strategic planning process. After several decades of best practice and one-size-fits-all solutions, academics began to developing contingency theories. 1980s. Competitive advantage. As the business environment grew increasingly competitive and connected, and with a blooming management consultancy industry, competitive advantage became a priority for organizations in the 1980s. Tools like Total Quality Management, Six Sigma, and Lean were used to measure processes and improve productivity. Employees were more involved by collecting data, but decisions were still made at the top and goals were used to manage people and maintain control. 1990s. Process optimization. Benchmarking and business process reengineering became popular in the 1990s. And by the middle of the decade, 60% of Fortune 500 companies claimed to have plans for or have already initiated such projects. TQM, Six Sigma, and Lean remained popular, and the more holistic, organization-wide approach and strategy implementation took the stage with tools such as strategic maps and blend scorecards. 2000s Big Data. Largely driven by the consulting industry under the banner of Big Data, organizations in the 2000s started to focus on using technology for growth and value creation. Meanwhile, our saturation of existing market space drove to concepts such as blue ocean strategy and value innovation. from 2000 to present. Globalization. Globalization, advances in technology, and increased diversity have put organizational challenges into hyperdrive. How we lead our people and how we solve problems and innovate are some of the most important aspects of management to get right. Next content, the function of management. There are many investigators and researchers have studied and classified their framework for a function of management. According to George and Jerry, there are 4 fundamental functions of management, which planning, organizing, actuating, and controlling. According to Henry Fayol, to manage is to forecast and plan, to organize, to command, and to control. According to Kant and Donald and others, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. According to Luther Gulick has given an abbreviation post-carb as below. Planning. A plan is a future course of actions. It is an exercise in problem solving and decision making. Planning is the basis function of management. It deals with chalking out a future course of action and deciding in advance the most appropriate course of actions for achievement of predetermined goals. Planning is determination of courses of action to achieve desired goals. Thus, planning is a systematic thinking about ways and means for accomplishment of predetermined goals. Planning is necessary to ensure proper utilization of human and non-human resources. It is all-pervasive. It is an intellectual activity, and it also helps in avoiding confusion, uncertainties, risks, wastage. According to Kant, planning is deciding in advance what to do, when to do, and how to do. It bridges the gap from where we are and where we want to be. Organizing. Organizing is the process of bringing together physical, financial, and human resources and developing productive relationships amongst them for achievement of organizational goals. According to Henry Fayol, to organize a business is to provide it with everything useful or its functioning, raw material, tools, capital, and personnel. To organize a business involves determining and providing human and non-human resources to the organizational structure. Organizing as a process involves identification of activities, classification of grouping of activities, assignment of duties, delegation of authority, and creation of responsibility. Coordinating authority and responsibility relationships. Staffing. Staffing is the function of managing the organization structure and keeping it managed. Staffing has assumed greater importance in the recent years due to advancement of technology, increase in size of business, complexity of human behavior. The main purpose of staffing is to put right man on right job, as square pegs in square holes, and round pegs in round holes. According to Kant and Donald, managerial function of staffing involves managing the organization structure through proper and effective selection, appraisal, and development of personnel to fill the roles designed on the structure. Staffing involves manpower planning, recruitment, selection and placement, training and development, remuneration, performance appraisal, promotions, and transfer. Directing. Directing is that part of managerial function which dictates the organizational methods to work efficiently for achievement of organizational purposes. Directing is considered life spark of the enterprise, which sets in motion the action of people, because planning, organizing, and staffing are the mere preparations for doing the work. Direction is that inner personal aspect of management which deals directly with influencing, guiding, supervising, motivating, subordinate for the achievement of organizational goals. Direction has following elements: communication, supervision, motivation, and leadership. Communication is the process of passing information, experience, opinion, etc. from one person to another. It is a bridge of understanding. Supervision. Supervision implies overseeing the work of subordinates by their superiors. It's the act of watching and directing work and workers. Motivation means inspiring, stimulating, or encouraging the subordinates with zeal to work. Positive, negative, monetary, non-monetary incentives may be used for this purpose. Leadership may be defined as a process by which manager guides and influences the work of subordinates in desired direction. Controlling. Controlling implies measurement of accomplishment against the standards and correction of deviation, if any, to ensure achievement of organizational goals. The purpose of controlling is to ensure that everything occurs in conformity with the standards. An efficient system of control helps to predict deviations before they actually occur. According to Thiel-Hammond, controlling is the process of checking whether or not proper progress is being made towards the objectives and goals, and acting if necessary to correct any deviation. According to Kant and O'Donnell, controlling is the measurement and correction of performance activities of subordinates in order to make sure that the enterprise objectives and plans desired to obtain them as being accomplished. Conclusion. The 20th century is a special period in the history of management. There are many investigators and researchers have studied and classified their framework for function of management. According to Kant and O'Donnell and others, argued that planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. Thanks.